Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is August the 8th, 2024. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Thursday was solid. Nothing crazy, no foils, no mess ups. It was solid. It was nice. Let's see here. Food corner. Let's get right to that. It was Korean fried chicken, the spicy kind. I had some white rice, some egg rolls, I had a little bit of lettuce. But there was a twist. I don't know why I got this hankering, but I convinced myself that I wanted to use some refried bean and incorporate that into the meal. So I did. And I gotta say, it went okay. It's not something that I would just run back again, maybe in the later future. But like, I always have like this thing when it comes to like any kind of Asian dish. Whenever there's bean involved, I'm not the biggest fan of it. And I think it's because it's like usually like a bean paste situation. But yet, if you're talking like a refried bean, I'm all in. I mean, different cultures, whatever, but like that works for me. And I was like, well, maybe if I try it and work it backwards from the refried bean angle. That was my logic. That's how we got there on a plate. But overall, it was fine. It was good. I gotta level with you. I liked the refried bean, especially the way I like kind of seasoned it, whatever, more than I liked the weird orange sauce on the coconut chicken, the coconut shrimp last week. So there's that. And now that I just said it, coconut chicken sounds banger. Why have I not eaten coconut chicken? That sounds fucking fuego. Anyway, just kind of getting into my own weeds about food here. That's pretty much it on the personal stuff. So we can go ahead and go into our startup. And get into some real news, some real happenings. Ooh wee. All right. Oh, I will say, Buzzball update. That shit was pretty strong. I definitely like went to bed a little bit earlier because like my body like just felt like a little off in a way that I couldn't fix. Like even with like hydrating, obviously I ate all that. I just couldn't get back to like quite 100%, and I just wound up laying in bed and just I fell asleep. But I got my walk in, I got all the usual stuff in, so that was nice. That was good overall. Would I drink a Buzzball again? Specifically that one. I'm sure there's a couple other flavors I would try. I was talking to people on the internet though; they were showing me like other ones. Why do they have a chocolate Buzzball? That seems insane. That seems terrible. But definitely like the fruity ones, I'm okay with. You know, I could do a blue raspberry probably. Maybe not any of the green ones. I mean, I don't need to up my magic, so there's no reason to use that kind of elixir potion. And I'm sure it's like some kind of like lime thing that I would probably hate. So yeah, that's my synopsis, my full synopsis on Buzzballs. So yeah, let's get into some real news. From ABC News. Pakistani national charged with alleged plot to assassinate Donald Trump, other public officials. DOJ, which is the Department of Justice. A Pakistani national with reported ties to Iran was arrested last month on charges he plotted to assassinate former President Donald Trump and multiple other public officials, according to a criminal complaint unsealed Tuesday in Brooklyn federal court. While the criminal complaint does not mention Trump by name, multiple sources familiar with the case told ABC News one of the intended targets of the alleged plot was Trump. Other possible targets included government officials from both sides of the aisle, the sources said. After spending time in Iran, Asif Merchant flew from Pakistan to the U.S. to recruit hitman to carry out the alleged plot, according to a detention memo. The person he contacted was a confidential informant working with the FBI, according to a criminal complaint. Merchant, 46, is charged with murder for hire. So I actually heard about this, like, I want to say a day after the assassination attempt. So the day after Crooks tried it, died. I'd heard about this, and I remember maybe a day or so after, like at work, I remember like one of my coworkers talking about it, and he had heard it too. And I was like, but he had kind of brushed it off as like kind of cockamamie. I felt like, no, they wouldn't have mentioned this if it wasn't a threat, but I'm sure that they had it contained, you know? But now we have the full details of what that threat was, and it's like, God damn, it was pretty extensive of a threat. And it's kind of like a crazy kind of irony here that, like, this person went through what maybe some might describe as like a 9/11 style amount of prep, or maybe not as much, but like a lot of prep into what they were trying to do. A lot of time had gotten put into this, but I think simply because he tried to contact a criminal informant and it wasn't actually a guy that could have actually like facilitated this, it was always set up. So it's like throughout the whole process, and I mean, I guess we can kind of read it. But Asif was arrested July 12th, one day prior to Trump's July 13th rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where he was shot in the ear. Let's scroll ahead. In April, Merchant arrived from Iran and contacted someone with someone to help with his murder plot, or with his plot, according to officials. The person ended up being a confidential source who reported the information to law enforcement, according to the Justice Department. Merchant allegedly met up with the source in early June and explained the assassination plot and said it was not a one-time opportunity. Specifically, Merchant requested men who could do the killing, approximately 25 people who could perform a protest as a distraction after the murder occurred, and a woman to do reconnaissance. So these were definitely like laid out plans. They were definitely set to go, unless, you know, like I said, it more or less had just been orchestrated by, you know, a criminal informant, FBI, law enforcement, all that. But I do think, and I mean, I don't even think, I know this led to a change in the security for the rally that day. That's actually the reason why the snipers were put up, because they're like, maybe we should just be 100% here just in case. Like, we know we have the threat neutralized. We had it neutralized before this guy even came to the U.S. But that being said, let's just leave no stone unturned. And that's where I feel like the irony comes in, because then you have Crooks, a person who, you know, he had done his own level of prep to get to that point. He wanted to make a name for himself, yada. We talked about this. But despite the addition of these snipers that weren't initially on the detail, that still wasn't enough, and it still winds up happening, and they're still in an attempt. So it's crazy. But obviously, Crooks and Merchant are not connected. There's no connection there. There's no tangential ties, whatever. Like, it's just, you know, crazy world that there was an international threat and a domestic. Though, I want to add here, Merchant had not even specifically targeted Trump at that point. The plan was just laid out. Everything was quote unquote set in motion, and he was just kind of coming to, you know, foresee it. And then he's like getting clapped the day he was supposed to be leaving. So there's that. That's assassination attempt number 1. Now we have another assassination terror plot that I wanted to talk about from CNN. ISIS-inspired suspect plans suicide attack at Taylor Swift concert. Austrian authorities say. Police in Austria have questioned 3 teenagers suspected of plotting a suicide attack at a Taylor Swift show, sparking renewed concerns over the indoctrination of young people online. Foreign intelligence agencies helped authorities uncover the alleged scheme, according to the country's Interior Minister Gerard Karner. A source familiar told CNN that the U.S. issued a warning to authorities in Vienna. Organizers canceled 3 concerts, which were scheduled to take place in the European capital from Thursday to Saturday. CNN has reached out to Swift's representatives for comment. Also, just an aside here, that's crazy that she's going to like that. The setup of this tour, man, it's just so intense to like hit a spot and then be like, yeah, we're gonna be camped out here for like a good chunk of the week, just performing back-to-back shows. Like, I mean, not back-to-back, but like day after day. Like, that's intense. Anyway, back to the meat. Investigators unearthed a stockpile of chemicals, explosive devices, detonators, and 21,000 euros in counterfeit cash at the home of the main suspect, a 19-year-old ISIS sympathizer who had been radicalized online, according to authorities. I believe specifically it was ISIS-K, but maybe don't quote me on that. And I say specifically just saying like that's the specific like terrorist group. They don't have any main person, I think, that they can say, hey, we're also looking for this person. They kind of just were able to round up the teenagers and stop the plot. But it's crazy that this was like legitimately fleshed out. There was no like criminal informant here or anything, it seems. They were just able to get on it. I don't know. But the young man who were arrested Wednesday morning in the eastern town of Ternitz planned to kill himself and a large number of people, according to the head of the Domestic Intelligence Agency, Omar Haidrawi Pershner. He said he intended to carry out an attack using explosives and knives. Haidrawi Pensher told reporters in Vienna on Thursday. His aim was to kill himself and a large number of people during the concert, either today or tomorrow. 2 other suspects were detained, aged 17 and 15. The 17-year-old worked for a facilities company that would have provided services at the concert venue. He was near the stadium when he was attacked and had recently broken up with his girlfriend. Little had been revealed about the 15-year-old. Prosecutors will decide later if he was a witness or directly involved with the alleged plot. All 3 are all Austrian-born with either Turkish, North Macedonian, or Croatian backgrounds. The trio were in contact with individuals who knew about the plan, said the country's Director General for Public Security, Franz Ruf. No one else is being sought in direct connection with the plot, Ruf added. I'm not sure exactly how they were able to figure it out. I didn't trace it from this article or anything else I picked up as of yet. But, I mean, obviously good that they did. I know that, obviously there's a ton of emotions involved in this in terms of, like, the fans, the Swifties. You know, some are crying because they're missing their opportunity because the cancellations, they were refunded. But there's others, and I'm sure just like the people who are just upset about that initially also understand it's like, oh my God, like I could have died. I could have gone to Taylor Swift and fucking died at the show. That would have been crazy. This also like gives me vibes to, I know this happened like not a long time ago. This was like several years ago at least, with the Ariana Grande concert, where I think it might have been in Paris or something like that. I should have researched this fully before I even started riffing on it. But that was like a whole fucking thing that happened, and that was sad. So I'm glad that didn't actually happen. Like, again, history didn't repeat itself in that way, because definitely with what these guys had planned, it would have been even worse, you know, adding the whole chemicals, explosives, all that fucking shit. That's a whole other level, not just a fucking knife. So yeah, I know it's a lot of emotion. Taylor Swift also issued a statement, which I don't have handy or ready, but I do know that they had some like sing-ins and stuff, and like I think like a local church let in like Swiftie fans, and they came through and they were like singing and like dancing around, doing that kind of stuff, and I thought that was like at least something there, and it also shows like the sense of like community within the fandom. Whether you hate Swifties or not, whatever, but like that's at least a wholesome moment you can see and like appreciate, right? And just good that the city was overall like able to come together. You know what I mean? As opposed to the upcoming shows, London Mayor Sadiq Khan said the city would carry on with scheduled events, telling Sky News, "I'm sure Vienna has its own reasons to cancel Taylor Swift concerts. We're going to carry on, working closely with police and ensuring that Taylor Swift concerts can take place in London safely." AKA, we're securing the bag, bitch. Live or die, ride or die, dude. Taylor, come on through. So, hey, you know, we live in a capitalist society. I've said it before. I'll say it again. But yeah, there we go. You know, assassination attempts, Swiftie bracelets, it's just going crazy out here. Let's go ahead and move on to our next beat. I was gonna say international. We've been international though, technically. We started in the States, and we're all over the place. We went to Vienna just now. Goddamn. Yeah. So let's continue with the Associated Press. Thai court dissolves Progressive Move Forward Party, which won election but was blocked from power. So I feel like I haven't had an update, or haven't really covered an update on what was going on in Thai politics. I think there was what was it? LGBTQ thing we talked about recently, whatever. But we had talked about the Move Forward Party last year, and I was kind of waiting on bated breath, hoping that things would continue to go well instead of being forestalled. And it seems like things went from like bad to worse. So here we are. A court in Thailand on Wednesday ordered the dissolution of the Progressive Move Forward Party, which finished first in last year's general election, saying it violated the constitution by proposing an amendment of a law against defaming the country's royal family. The Constitutional Court said it voted unanimously to dissolve the party because its campaign proposal to amend the law amounted to an attempt to overthrow the nation's constitutional monarchy, which is insane. Especially when we get into what's the penalty for even just saying something bad against the monarchy. The Election Commission had filed a petition against the party after the Constitutional Court ruled in January, that it must stop advocating changes to the law, known as Article 112, which protects the monarchy from criticism with penalties of up to 15 years in jail per offense. Like, that's insane. And essentially they're saying, hey, shouldn't we just lift it? Like, you should be able to have a criticism of the monarchy without having to go to jail for over a decade. That's insane. Obviously, they're also trying to push just a general idea of saying, like, hey, we're not trying to abolish the monarchy. Let them be what they are. But, like, can't we be something like the UK or, like, fucking London, whatever? You know? Like, can't we just be, like, fucking jolly old England? Have, like, a monarchy that's, like, above, I would say aside to what's actually going on in our government, and let our government actually rule. Like, that's important. We have a prime minister, we have, like, what is it, a parliament, whatever, constitutional court, blah, 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 blah. Like, we have forms of power. We do not need this monarchy. And essentially they're like, yeah, for that, we're just going to dissolve your whole party. You're done. You're cooked. Despite winning a democratic election, you're done. Get out of here. And that's not the first time this happened. Like, I came in when the party before this was disillusioned or dissolved. That's the better word. And what is it? Pita Limajorina. I'm totally getting that wrong. Mea culpa. He had come into power. He was young. He looked like he was gonna like really do some shit with the party. And then they were like just doing injunctions to kind of stop him from doing anything. And I was like, okay, that doesn't look good. And now he can't participate in politics. Also, the current chief, Chai Hawat Tulathan, and I believe 3 others can also just no longer participate in politics. They're banned. They're done. Or at least a 10-year ban. They have to just go back to just being civilians. Like, they can maybe be activists, but that's about it. The rest of the party, they have 60 days to find a new party in the government, and that's a new party, or they're done. They're gone. So that's fucked up, man. Like, that's just not how this shit should be. Let's see here. I wanted to read from PETA, a quote from him. He declared that he was absolutely proud of what he achieved and had no regrets. I have left my dent in the universe, and I'll make sure that I pass the baton to the next generation leaders. So I appreciate that, because it's crazy to start from like what I would say like grassroots, just like really small change shit, get all the way to get into parliament, and now this happens. Just like the snap of their fingers, you're just done. Like it's a bummer to me. It's heartbreaking. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we talked about this and at least covered it. You know what I mean? Sorry, I've been trying to trawl through here and find what I was looking for. Move Forward's predecessor, the Future Forward Party, was dissolved by the Constitutional Court in 2020 on charges of violating election laws on donations to political parties. The dilution of Future Forward, whose promises of reforms were particularly attractive for younger people disillusioned after years of military rule, further highlighted the struggle between the progressive movement and conservative forces. And it's also not just the court here. I mean, we talked about this when we talk about, nation states at large or whatever, where it's usually, I don't know why I said it large, probably not the right words, whatever. Like, it's not just one party. It's not just one group. It usually takes at least two to kind of have this full thing where you just cannot have any democracy. There's just no flow here. And essentially you have the government, you have the courts themselves that are essentially not playing ball. You cannot be progressive here, no way, no how. And then you have the military that's also involved, backing that play, saying, yep, we're fine with this. Everything should be as it is. Don't fuck with the monarchy. So yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate because essentially it's just a bunch of people who are like above everything and they're not actually contributing to anything. They don't need to be involved in the process, and you should be able to criticize them. You should be able to critique them. What the fuck, man? Like, it's always going to be dumb to me. And I mean, hey, that's my dumb, maybe American ass brain from some people's perspectives, who fucking knows or cares. But yeah, I think it's fucked up. But I know that it's not over, just like with the Future Forward Party, the Move Forward Party is going to turn into something else. The people are going to pick up that torch and keep it moving. So, of that I'm sure. But still, it's a fucking bummer. But anyway, let's move on. Let's cover another story. From ABC News. 7.1 magnitude earthquake strikes coast of Japan. A strong earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 7.1 has rocked the coast of southern Japan, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. The epicenter of the earthquake is just a dozen miles off the coast of the city of Miyazaki on the island of Kyushu in Japan. But the Japan meteorological agency, oh my god, has now lifted tsunami advisories for all but the Miyazaki prefecture. That's gonna haunt me. There were reports of people falling and sustaining non-life-threatening injuries. One home in Kagoshima is said to have collapsed, but no injuries were reported. Regional nuclear plants were still reporting no abnormalities. Whew, come on, let's 1 for 2 at least. Jesus Christ. So yeah, I mean, good news here is that there's at least no big injuries. There's no big infrastructural damage to report as of yet. Hopefully it stays that way. Knock on some wood. Cause damn, we don't want to see nobody taking no L's from an earthquake this week. It's been busy enough, right? Or period. We've covered some really fucking gnarly situations where, either the infrastructure bad or the earthquake is just super fucking terrible. I mean, granted, there's also aftershock. So, hopefully, there's not going to be anything crazy to report after this, 7.1. But, I'm glad that the infrastructure seems to have held. There doesn't seem to be, like I said, any casualties. So overall, in some ways, it's a bit of a silver lining. It's just still very scary. You know what I mean? You don't want to wake up and it's like, oh my gosh, the whole world's shaking. Or you're just, chilling, doing your thing, you're working, whatever, and then that happens. That's literally going to shake up your day. So there we go. Is there anything else I wanted to cover on this particular thing? I mean, there's details, but you know what it is. Details. Their scale, though, only goes to 0 to 7, which I kind of don't like, right? Because, I mean, this is already 7.1, so, I mean, that's kind of like the max. So I feel like the OG one goes to 10, if I'm not mistaken. But, I mean, I'm mistaken a lot when I get on this podcast, so whatever. Yeah, that's it for that. I have one more thing I wanted to cover. It's our last thing. I'm kind of shoving this in. I literally just peeped this, I think last night or this morning I got the news about this. And this is because I am from Missouri. You know, I'm from St. Louis. That's where I was born. So I keep a little eye out for, you know, my celebrities from there, my musicians from there, at least. You know what I mean? So, but granted, I read this and I learned some unfortunate things that I didn't like learning. But we'll maybe get into that. I think we have the time. So let's go ahead and take our last break and we'll go ahead and close it out. All right. From People Magazine. Nelly arrested in St. Louis area as he's accused of ecstasy possession and lack of insurance. Police. The Maryland Heights Police Department confirms to People that the rapper, 49, was arrested for failure to appear on an old traffic charge around 5 a.m. after being arrested by the state of Missouri Highway Patrol Gaming Division at the Hollywood Casino. According to an online arrest record viewed by People, the rapper, whose real name is Cornell Haynes Jr., was initially arrested on a charge of possession of a controlled substance for allegedly having 4 ecstasy pills and a charge of no insurance. Now, I'm curious if the no insurance thing, if he just actively doesn't have the insurance or like, you know, like on him, or if he doesn't have it at all. But I don't know, whatever. I feel like these days I can look it up. So if you just didn't have the insurance, that's crazy. You literally want all this fucking money. Anyway, despite the arrest record showing otherwise, Nelly's lawyer claimed the artist was not charged with drug possession. So, I mean, maybe outright lying here, says attorney, or at least attorney Scott Rosenblum, claims that any other citizen would have been told to address it and allowed to go on their way for having no proof of insurance. Yeah, okay. So yeah, like there's definitely, I've heard of this situation. I'm paranoid to Android. I always keep that shit on me or it's on my fucking phone. But like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, that's crazy. He doesn't even like have it on like an app or something. But I mean, hey, maybe if you're a celebrity and you just have an entourage, you just think all that shit's gonna be handled. But whatever. It's just weird to me to not have insurance. Period. Like, why do you not have that on you? That's just dumbass behavior. But whatever. Rosenbaum calls this an overzealous, kind of situation by law enforcement. Yada yada yada. I mean, sure, but like, that's loose. It's crazy that you have like, was it warrants or whatever out for like, there's already another charge out. You're not even thinking about that shit. And you have an old traffic charge out. You're rolling around with fucking ecstasy on you and shit, and like I think weed too. Like, bro, that's loose. Yeah, because they do the thing where they're like, "Is that weed? Guys got some weed in there." And of course, they use that as grounds to like go through their shit and oh, look what we found here. Let's continue. This is not the Hot in Here's musician's first brush with the law. He's faced multiple sexual assault allegations. So this is some shit I did not know. And I mean, hey, I consider myself a pretty decent Nelly fan, but I guess I wasn't keeping up with the Joneses on this. I was like, oh yeah, he's with Ashanti now. That's great, awesome. But no, there's more. In October of 2017, Nelly was arrested after a woman named Monique Green claimed that the rapper had sexually assaulted her on his tour bus in Washington. In a statement to The Blast, the Auburn Police Department confirmed that the Ride With Me rapper had been arrested. He was later released from police custody as authorities continued to investigate the claim. Excuse me. A rep for Nelly denied the allegations and told People via a statement from his lawyer that the woman's claims are a completely fabricated allegation and they are confident he wouldn't be charged. By September of 2019, prosecutors dropped the case after Green refused to testify and did not file any charges. Nelly maintained they had consensual sex. After facing accusations of an alleged sexual assault that happened in December of 2017, following one of his concerts at England Essex, police stopped their investigation into the hip-hop star in April 2019. The anonymous woman claimed that Nelly masturbated in front of her multiple times after a show at Cliff's Pavilion in Southend. He had denied the allegations. Per the BBC, the woman refused to testify, prompting UK prosecutors to drop the case. In April 2015, Nelly was also arrested on several drug charges, including felony possession by Tennessee state troopers, people confirmed. However, his attorney denied that he was associated with the contraband that led to his arrest. While traveling with 5 other people, Nelly had been stopped for failure to display a U.S. Department of Transportation and International Fuel Tax Association sticker, a little sticker you put on your license. And he got jammed up for that. So, I mean, yeah, I was surprised about that. Like, oh, there's more. In a subsequent probable cause search and investigation, troopers found a plastic bag with 5 colored crystal-type rocks that tested positive for methamphetamine. So, like, ooh. Oh, was that one of the entourage or you, Nelly? Oh, my. A small amount of marijuana, approximately 100 small Ziploc bags, which you never want to have any amount of drugs and any amount of baggies attached to the scene. Because guess what? They're going to try to make you a dealer. They're going to try to make that criminal. And numerous handguns. I like how they put that in quotations. Including a gold-plated 50 caliber Desert Eagle pistol. Man, I'll tell you, man, Desert Eagles are cool as fuck until you actually pull the trigger on one of those motherfuckers. That is like false advertising. Anytime I've seen a cartoon or whatever where motherfuckers have like a Desert Eagle and they shoot that shit with one goddamn hand. No, dude. Man, I almost donked myself in the head first time I tried to shoot that shit. Which I guess is on brand for me and my dumb ass. But yeah, no, Desert Eagles are no joke. That literally was like my favorite kind of gun until I pulled the trigger on that. And I was like, okay, maybe I like 1911s or some shit. I don't fucking know. Anyway, let's keep scrolling. Is there anything else I want to talk about the Nelly, the dark side of Nelly? No, let's get to the other part. Nelly is currently expecting his first child with Ashanti, whom he secretly married in December of 2023. So yeah, like I said, I knew about the Ashanti thing. I was like, oh, that's cute, that's adorable. I didn't know about any of those allegations. I mean, maybe because they didn't like fully see a trial or anything like that, and I think that can make all the difference. But yeah, I really didn't see much of like, I don't know, the social world or anything like that. I didn't see a YouTube video. Maybe it exists, the internet's a big place. And look, I'm not the one trying to make a video like that. I'm not trying to accuse anyone. Just once again, I was like, oh shit, pick that up from People magazine. Thanks for the info. But yeah, I mean, also I initially wanted to do this one because, like I said, I'm a Nelly fan, Saint Lunatics, whatever, yada yada yada. But then also it just kind of felt like not a parallel, but like we were recently talked about Justin, doing his whole Molly thing, and he was drinking. I think he got his license suspended. Little update there. And now we got Nelly, on Molly and shit. Damn, dude. Just don't do that. I don't know. Like, do that shit at home, in the comfort of your home, or like, don't take that shit and drive around. It's crazy. Anywho, that's the episode. That's where I want to leave it. I did go long. I was hoping I wouldn't go so long, but hey, it happens. I did talk about the Nelly thing full out, tip the stern or whatever, however they say on the boat. So yeah, that's where we'll leave it. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. After that, after you're a newsie, I shout you out once a month, plug a project, whatever, if you like. Let's see here. Free ways to hit me up. IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials you're on. Speaking of the internet, let's see here. YouTube. That's another thing. Subscribe to the YouTube. Try and get those numbers up. Subscribe to the Spotify. Get those numbers up. Leave a comment, because you can do that on both. I don't know if you knew that, but you can leave comments on Spotify. Sharing is caring, which you can do on both. It can be fun. Try it out. Take it for a spin. See what your friends say. No, I don't know. Hopefully I just see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.